What's up, guys? Welcome back to Mr. Onesie Live. Oxygen, the latest foreign film scientific thriller to hit the Netflix streaming service. I saw the trailer about a few weeks ago and I was really pumped to actually see this movie upon release. So the film tells a story about a young woman named Elizabeth Hansen, aka Liz, who prematurely wakes up in her cryogenic chamber only to find out that her oxygen supply is steadily depleting. All the while, she struggles to recollect her own identity while succumbing to this claustrophobic nightmare. So the premise is kind of familiar, but it's definitely filled with its own suspense. Kind of vaguely reminds me of Buried, starring Ryan Reynolds, except more scientific and futuristic. So let's get right into it with my thoughts. I really enjoyed this film. I thought the pacing was really steady and the sense of claustrophobia was like steadily growing and just inducing with the suspense and the thrills. And I thought it was interesting that the main character, Liz, was pretty much kind of trying to figure out her own identity at the same time the audience is figuring out her identity as well. And right at the beginning of her premature awakening, she's assisted by the cryogenic chamber software Milo, who gives her like little tidbits of information when she's asking the right questions. But I thought all around this whole movie was like really interesting because you never knew where it was gonna go, and all the while that you knew from the beginning that her oxygen supply was depleting. So the urgency of death and death by asphyxiation was upon her. So while all this is happening, she's trying to figure out who she is and at the same time figure out how to escape her cryogenic chamber and or at least how to fix her oxygen supply. We get to kind of see who she is by flashbacks and things of that nature, and at the same time, she's trying to learn exactly where she is and trying to put all the pieces together. And at the same time, not trying to panic and deplete her oxygen supply even faster. It's a pretty solid script, well paced, well acted, and the intentions are definitely there as well as the urgency because you see the character trying to fight back, trying to panic. So there's a lot of different factors of this movie. But one of the biggest things to me was really the plot twist that I definitely did not see coming because you don't know where she is and she doesn't know where she is. And when you think that you actually know where she is, guess what? You don't. So I really love the fact that it was steadily paced and everything was kind of tiptoeing around and learning tidbits of information as the story continuously progressed. And then when you finally got to the real revelation, you really learn a lot of different morals about the character as well as why the story developed the way that it did and why did her character develop the way that it did, which was a really interesting experience to say the least. So yeah, this movie was packed full of like the urgency, the necessities to try to prevail and really secure her life because the risk factor was there. And all the while that the things that you learned on the way was very interesting and was very compelling by the end of the story. And like I said, the twist was really unexpected and it was really fulfilling to see it in the end. And I really like how they did it and executed it. Overall, it's a really cool sci-fi thriller suspenseful journey. And all the while, the creativity, the imagination, and the depth of the story, I think is supremely fulfilling. So these are my thoughts about Oxygen. Definitely check it out on Netflix. And thank you guys for tuning in. So please definitely hit that like and subscribe button and follow me on my social media links in the description below. As always, leave a comment about any films that you would like to see me reviewed or your opinions on them as well. This has been another Mr. Onesie Live production.